Hi guys, my name is Roger, and ever since I was a teenager, I've always wanted to build my own car. I started this channel to see if an average person, like me, can design and build their own mid-engine car. If you like what you see here in my videos, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you know someone who you think might be interested in my videos, please share the videos with them. I'll be adding a new video every week, and with that out of the way, let's get started with this week's video.
I think the first thing I'm going to do this week is I'm going to pull these seats out and get them out of the way. And I'm going to start working on these fuel tanks and get everything finished up inside of them. The fuel pump, the fuel sending unit, and everything bolted into place. Fuel lines tightened, and everything I can do to get these tanks ready to put fuel in them to start this engine. This is the box here with the pickup for the fuel pump. So I guess let's get started pulling the seats out and try to get these tanks ready to use. Well, the transaxle showed back up today after being re-geared. It only took them 7 days to ship it there, re-gear it, and ship it back. That was a pretty quick turnaround. So glad to have it back. It's a little early. I'm not quite ready for it. I'm still waiting on the bolts to bolt the flywheel to the engine, and once I do that, I can start putting the clutch and ring gear and transaxle back in the car. We should have those bolts here in a day or two. And in the meantime, I'm continuing to do wiring, running a few more circuits, trying to figure out where to connect some hot wires to. I am running wiring up through here. I have a switch. This is just temporary, and to start the engine and drive the car around a little, I have an on and off switch which powers everything up. And then I have a momentary switch, which I'm not sure is large enough, but I'm hoping to use this for a starter. I don't know, we're just triggering basically a relay. I don't know how much current it's going to pull. This switch may not be large enough. If it's not, I'll buy something else. But if it is, this will be the starter button to start the engine. I have some things ordered in the meantime, several things ordered, but this runs to a brake switch, so you have to mash the brake on the car before you can start it, just like any car. Since I have a clutch also, I may have to have a clutch and a brake wire so that both of them are pressed, both pedals are pressed before the car will start. Something I need to look into also. And I'm trying to figure out, this is the trigger wire or the power wire to the relays for the cooling fans up here. And I'm not sure if it is turned on by the digital dash or by the ECU. I've got to do a lot of reading. I need to get my computer down here and hook it up to this ECU and kind of roll through the screens and see how to set this up and get it started. I need to configure what type of sensors I'm using in all the different locations so the ECU knows how to read them and send the information to the digital dash. But I think that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to get my laptop down here and plug it in and scroll through the screens and try to get familiar with them. Just wanted to show you what came in today. This is the axles for the car, and this is the last major component that I needed to be able to finish up the car to the point of running the engine and maybe even driving it down the street and back. I had a few more small things come in today, like this master cylinder reservoir for the clutch. This clutch line, I have it ran through all the way to the back of the car, and it's just sitting here waiting on the transaxle. And I am waiting on the bolts to bolt the flywheel to the crank. They should be here maybe tomorrow and possibly 2 days. Once they come in, I can put the flywheel and the clutch and the transaxle back in the car, hook up the hydraulic line to the clutch, hook the gearing cables back up, and everything here in the rear. Let's see, I had some wiring pieces come in today. I started running a couple more wires. I've started running the oil return lines to the turbos. I have the fittings screwed into the oil pan. The hoses run up to the turbos. It's too tight to get a fitting on here, so I'm going to have to take these turbos apart and rotate them. Just one bolt hole here, so the input of the oil will be rotated in slightly, but the output will come out here so I can get a good fitting on it, and the angle will work for me. I'll have to do that for both turbos. Let's see. I think I had some more components come in today. I had some pins and some crimpers for wiring. I've talked to a guy about writing my program for the ECU just to get me up and going. So I should have something on that here in a few days. There are a few more small components that are ordered that'll be here in a day or two. One thing I'm waiting on is the fuel line for the fuel pump. The line was on it was not quite long enough. I've ordered another line. I actually ordered one, but it wasn't quite large enough. I believe the tube, it didn't call out if the dimension on the tube was ID or OD. And I assumed it would be an ID fitting, and I believe it was an OD. So this tubing is not quite large enough, so I've ordered another piece. And once that comes in, we'll get this fuel pump assembled and put in the car and wired and all of that. And we'll just be one step closer. But let's see. Oh, and the muffler came in today. I ruined the first muffler. I cut it off too short here because I was planning on welding it. But I just could not weld that muffler material. That stainless, whatever type it is, I couldn't get it to weld to the other stainless. So I went with clamps, and now this muffler came in today, so it is clamped on and bolted in solid and finished. I guess that's going to be about it for this week's video. Come back and see us again in 1 week, and we'll be putting the flywheel, the clutch, and the transaxle and everything back in the car, getting that all bolted in, getting it ready to drive. I think we're down to where I said it would be maybe 2 more weeks until we start the engine and possibly drive the car. It's still looking like that's a possibility. I've just got a lot of work to get done this coming week. So I'll see you guys again in 1 week.